He's getting high praise from the country music industry. We are getting connected with Dillon Carmichael coming up. This episode of Connected with Kelly is sponsored by Pickers Vodka, proudly made in Nashville, Tennessee. So Pickers is a tribute to the musicians whose sounds fill the air in Music City. Pickers Vodka is distilled 11 times from non-GMO corn, and it's gluten-free. My new favorite is the Pickers Unplugged Vodka Soda. They're in cans. They are only 96 calories, 0 carbs, great flavors. You need to give them a try. Visit pickersvodka.com to find out more or to order online. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Connected with Kelly. Dillon Carmichael. Let me tell you, he has a new album out, and it's called Son of a. We're going to talk all about that. Plus, he was once a security guard at the Opry, how he went from being security to stepping into the circle, and what's the best advice that he's gotten from his uncles, John Michael Montgomery and Eddie Montgomery. All of that and more. Let's get connected with Dillon Carmichael. Man, listen, I am such a fan of all the things that you've been doing. I mean, your sound is so cool. It's traditional. You've got a good spin on it. This new album that's coming out. I want all the details on Son of a.
Yeah, I mean, well, the title of the album is also a song on the album, which is common. But that song is kind of like, I mean, that's my pride and joy of the album. That song means the world to me. It honors the mother and the father, and I'm a family guy, and also it kind of leaves, it doesn't answer itself. It leaves it kind of hanging, so it lets everybody's imagination kind of run when they see that. But yeah, it's a great song that I love and that I think is going to connect with people and maybe touch some lives, which is why I do this whole thing. It's why we're here right now for me.
Where did you grow up in Kentucky?
I grew up about 45 minutes southwest of Lexington,
Okay.
Mercer County. We do the county thing there like we do in Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
Mercer County, close to Danville, is one of.
Oh, yeah. The Big Brass Band Festival in Danville.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Listen, I grew up in southern Indiana and Kentucky in Louisville, so I remember going down there. What was it like when you were growing up? Like, what were the influences? Because obviously, being from Kentucky, I know you had some bluegrass in there, but what were the other things that were playing in your house?
That, believe it or not, the bluegrass thing, for whatever reason, didn't like enter my life until I started working at the Opry later on as a security officer, and then I fell in love with the Del McCurry band. But that was later. I'll stick back to growing up. So my my family are all musicians, and that's my dad's side. Everyone was in gospel music, but my mom's side was my mom's Becky Montgomery, and she's the sister of John Michael Montgomery and Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry, or they're the brothers of Becky Montgomery, you could say.
There you go. That's right.
But anyway, so I just was surrounded by it all the time. They were big influences to me, but I really loved the old Haggard stuff and Willie and the Loretta Lynn's and all that old country like that. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's where you get the traditional stuff in my music. But growing up in Bergen is my hometown, Mercer County, Kentucky. You'll hear a lot of that on this record. I mean, there's a song called Hose Water. I mean, we were kids and we didn't have iPads and cell phones. We played outside and we played in the water hose, and there's a certain taste to it. You probably know what I'm talking about.
It's metallic. It's got a little bit of metal, a little bit of dirt. Yeah.
Rubber, a little bit of metal, and now they probably highly advise you don't drink that water.
Right.
But we did. And we rode four wheelers around, and we learned to drive tractors when we were really young, and we got our license and we drove trucks, and we had our friends, and our friends' parents were like parents to us, and my parents were like parents to my friends, and it was very small, and that was good and bad at times. Sometimes word got around a little too fast, But it was really great. We all went to the same church. We all ate at the same restaurant on Sunday after church, and it's really just. I used to go in. I was telling somebody recently. I used to go in when I was a kid to this place. It was called Sandusky, and it was a bunch of old guys with their case knives, and they would sit outside and whittle sticks and lean over and spit their chewing tobacco on the ground. And you would walk in, and it would be these really rough looking wood floors, and they sold seed like corn and soybean and all, and you could get your tractor parts and all that kind of stuff there. And there was an old man behind the counter. He was always grumpy, and it was just like this, almost out of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was just so lucky to be a part of something like that, and actually experience walking in a building like that in real life. That building is long gone, was torn down a long time ago. I'm sure, those old men then are if they're not up in age, they're probably passed on, long gone. But there's something so special about growing up in a place like that, and I'm so obsessed and thankful to have grown up there, that this whole album is that. I mean, it's all that stuff.
Tell me about Hot Beer.
Hot beer is not as much that, but definitely it was written by a buddy of mine, Hardy, all caps. That song is about a relationship gone wrong, and you're pretty much saying she wants you back, and you're saying, I'd rather drink a hot beer than have you back. And that's saying a lot, because who likes hot beer besides Germans?
That's pretty funny. I think the only thing worse than having a hot beer would be a skunked beer.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have the same ring to it as hot beer for a title.
I mean, it says in there, I'd rather drink a skunked, old, totally not cold hot beer.
There you go. Okay, then we were on the same wavelength. And looking at this album, you have co-writes on so many. How many of the songs on the 14 do you have a co-write on?
I need to go in and count, but I think it's somewhere around 50%.
Yeah. And you've got some heavy hitters. You said Hardy on there. The name that I love that's a good friend is Phil O'Donnell, which I know he helped produce you. Phil Billy has been around for years and has had a hand in people like Craig Morgan and so many others. What did it mean to have somebody like that come on board and help you with this project?
Well, I'm such a fan of Phil, his songwriting, his producing, but on top of that, more important than that even is he's like a father, like or a grandfather type figure to me. I mean, he calls me his son, and we have that kind of relationship. He's like a Nashville figure like that, but he's unbelievable, and I'm just so blessed to have him in my life. His faith is strong, and every time I get around him, he just being around him, he just fills the room with goodness. I don't know how else to put it. So it really translates into the music too.
I love that. What about Family Tree? I want to hear some more about that.
Sure. Yeah, I love that song, by the way. That's one of my favorite songs on the record. I'm an avid outdoorsman. I grew up doing it. It has a lot of outdoors type stuff in there. I think it goes back to that theme of where I grew up is who I am. A lot of those things you hear in that song is how it is where I grew up, and that's my people. We may not be all the time kind of like book smart or necessarily super educated CEOs or whatever, but we definitely are hardworking blue collar people, and we're talented when it comes to catching fish and putting food on the table. We know how to do all that kind of stuff.
It's funny when things start to get rough, everybody immediately thinks, where can I go? Like if we were to have another pandemic and we couldn't get to the supermarket and where could I go? And I'm like, country boys will survive. Thank you very much. You want somebody that can hunt and fish in a situation like that.
That's right. Y'all just come find me.
Oh, I'm on Team Carmichael for sure. I'm like, we're bugging out. Let's go find Dillon, see what's happening. Tell me more about your time being a part of the Opry and being in that family, and then what it means to come full circle for you.
Sure. Full circle is nicely put. Um, yeah, it's my family. Montgomery Gentry is members of the Opry. My family have done the Opry. We all grew up on the Opry. Like I mentioned earlier, I did security at the Opry when there was a moment in my career where I was not making music and I needed another way to pay my bills. So I applied for the security job at the Opry and I did that. And August 21st of 2018, I made my Opry debut, and it was really just such a full circle moment, like you said. And I think that's what the Opry is special for. And I think that's why the circle is such an important part of that because it is full circle. But I mean, my uncle Eddie is the one that announced me on stage, brought me out on stage on my debut. My mom got to sing harmony with me that day. Just a really special moment, and I really hope to. I want to be the artist that plays the Opry like 1,500 times in their lifetime.
I mean, you and Carly Pierce, come on.
Yeah, let's do it. That's a Kentucky girl.
She keeps a little tally, and she was up in the 80s, I think, when she got inducted. So that's good company to keep for sure. Before I let you go, I know you've got a collaboration that you did with Cadillac 3, Picking Up Girls. And I love those guys. Love them so much. Tell me more about this song and how y'all got together.
Sure. I think 2019, I celebrated my birthday with them, and it was a great time. I was out on the road doing some shows with them, and we were in Philly, and we've been best friends ever since then. We've been doing a whole lot of writing together, and then it was just kind of long overdue. I hadn't had a record really after that, and when it came time to make the record, I was like Cadillac Three, and we had songs that I'd cut a bunch of songs that the Cadillac Three and I had written together, so it was just a no brainer. And I'm such a fan of their style of music, and when they come together, they do something real special, unlike any other. And I'm honored for that to be featured on my record, and I know that they're super pumped about it too. I was actually talking with Neil yesterday from the Cadillac Three, and he's so pumped about it. And they're just all great guys, and they'd give you the shirt off their back, and just good people, truly good people.
I'm looking at some of the things that have been said about you. Rolling Stone said most convincing young star since Stapleton. When
Oh
you
wow.
have you not heard that?
No, I haven't heard that. That's awesome.
You're kidding. I thought you knew that.
Not hear that. This is my first time hearing that. That's
We'll
what a
just put that out there for you. There you go. How does that, when you hear accolades like that, because you've worked so hard for so long. I know it seems like overnight success, which is what everybody, well, he's been doing this for a minute and look, he's, hitting it big time. I know that it's been so much more than that. It's been years and years of working at it. What does it feel like when you see those things, when you hear those things being said about you and your music?
Well, I think that I've February will make 9 years that I've been in Nashville. That's almost a decade, and there's been a lot of ups and downs. I moved here when I was a kid. I'm 20, almost 28 now, but I moved here when I just turned 19 years old, and I was actually commuting here back and forth when I was 17 years old, and so it's really cool to just see it pay off and to feel those achievements. But there's no way that all this could happen without our Father, and I'm just so blessed that the Lord has given me these opportunities to do this, and but at the same time, like I want to keep the drive and I want to keep doing it. It's just that feeling of accomplishment, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff to still do, and I'm just ready to get back to it. It's feels really good to have this album being a masterpiece like it is to finally let the world hear. 360 degrees of where I come from and who I am.
Love this. What was the reaction when you let family listen to it?
Well, Son of a, obviously, being the nature of that song, that was a very powerful song when they heard that. But the other ones, I mean, like, Family Tree and Hose Water, I mean, they all get it. They get it. My family, they see they know where that comes from. So obviously an emotional time to hear such and like I said, I have a family where our whole family's always coming out with records and things. So, it's cool to see how much we all love it and we never get tired of it.
What's the best piece of advice your uncle ever gave you about being in the music industry?
One that really sticks with me, and I didn't realize how common this problem is, but to make sure you have an attorney if you're going to sign a legal document. I mean, that's such an important thing, and I didn't. I've had a lot of friends here in Nashville run into some pretty serious issues by just going, "Oh, there's a cool deal on the table. I'm just going to sign it, and I'm not going to have an attorney," because there's some. That's some good advice, but they've given me a lot of good advice over the years.
Dillon, thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I mean, you heard what Rolling Stone said, the best new convincing young star since Chris Stapleton. That's some high praise. I want to know your favorite Eddie Montgomery song from Montgomery Gentry or John Michael Montgomery. Those are his uncles. So you tell us your favorite song below in the comments. Of course, hit that bell. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell all your friends about this channel, and we'll have another episode for you next week. Until then, make sure you're staying connected with all the people and things you love the most. Bye.